Welcome back, learners. So today in this short video we will be discussing another aspect, which is your strain improvement. So strain improvement in industrial microbiology. Okay. Now you know that why I am focusing on this strain improvement, because when you are doing industrial production of any important compound, you have to have that exact strain, that modified strain that will grow in no time, that will multiply in no time, and in a very short period of time it will give you product of higher quantities. So your main aim will be that you have to get the product in a very short interval of time and in optimum amount, as well as the organism should also multiply to its optimum in a less requirement, right? And moreover, this particular strain, if it is being improved, the overall process, right, can result in enhancing the production, or it may also lead to enhancing the quality of the product. So that is why there is always a try in the industry to develop strain, to improve the strain of industrial microorganisms. So that is why, as a part of your industrial microbiology, we are having the class of your strain improvement. So basically in strain improvement, we will be discussing a few points like introduction of your strain improvement. Then we will be discussing the ideal characteristics of the strain, ideal characteristics of the strain, purpose of strain improvement, which I have already discussed, purpose of strain improvement, methodologies of strain improvement, and applications. So these are some of the focusing points which we will be discussing in strain improvement. So let's discuss the first point, and your first point is what is a strain? What is a strain? A strain is a group of species with one or more characteristics that distinguish from other subgroup of the same species of the strain. So it is a group of species, okay, with one or more characteristics, okay, and that distinguish it from other subgroups of same species of the strain. Each strain is identified by a name, number, or letter. So they are basically identified by the name, number, and your letter. Okay. Example, I give you an example like E. coli. Okay. K12. So you are having a number, you are having a letter, you are having the name. So this is basically your strain. Now the next important part is that what is strain improvement? I am writing it as SI, strain improvement. The science and technology of manipulating and improving microbial strain. So you are basically manipulating and you are improving microbial strain in order to enhance the metabolic capacity is known as strain improvement. So you are enhancing the organism's metabolic capacity. Metabolic capacity. So that is why this is basically called as your strain improvement. Okay. So from this slide we have discussed that what is a strain and what is a strain improvement. Next we will move on to another aspect, that is your ideal characteristics of the strain. So if I write ideal characteristics of a strain. Now when I am discussing the point, you must understand that why I am saying that it is ideal characteristics. Because when you develop a strain, you should have some prerequisites, some parameters which you keep in mind while performing your experiment or while performing the whole thing. So if your ideal characteristics, basically one is your rapid growth. So they will grow rapidly, which I have already told you the requirement. Genetic stability. Now see, when you are improving the strain, you are basically manipulating the strain. So there is a genetic manipulation. So when you are making it doing some genetic manipulation, it should be amenable to the changes, but it should be genetically stable. It should not change frequently on its own. Then one character which you have inculcated may change to a different character, may change to a different phenotype. So which may not be desirable in the industry. Next is your non-toxicity. That is very important. I have manipulated the strain, but it has become toxic to the human being. No, not at all. Ability to use cheaper substrate. So the strain should be such that they will be using cheaper substrate. Okay. Then elimination of the production of compound that may interfere with downstream processing. So the byproducts which is being produced, if there is too much byproducts, they will interfere with your DSP, your downstream processing. And by the time you know that what is downstream processing, so we should have a downstream processing, but it should be easy, it should be confined, right? Next is to improve the use of carbon and nitrogen sources. Use of carbon and nitrogen sources. Okay. Reduction of cultivation costs. So reduction of cultivation costs. So your cultivation cost has to be reduced. And then shorter fermentation time. Shorter fermentation time. Okay. So these are some of the important things, that is rapid growth, genetic stability, non-toxicity, cheaper substrate, okay, byproduct DSP, that is a downstream processing, use of carbon and nitrogen sources, reduction of cultivation cost, and shorter fermentation time. Okay. Next is another important aspect is the purpose of strain improvement. Purpose of strain improvement. Okay. So you understand one thing, students, that when I am talking this, so in the very first part I have discussed that why it is important and why we are studying this. First is the increase in productivity. So increase in productivities, okay, first point. Second is regulating the activity of the enzyme. So regulating the activity of enzyme. Next is introducing new genetic properties into the organism. So new genetic properties into the organism by RDT. So you can use recombinant DNA technology, genetic engineering. So you can use genetic engineering or recombinant DNA technology for inculcating a new different type of innovative property in your strain. Okay. So these are the various purposes of your strain improvement. Okay. Next is approaches. So if I talk of approaches, the basic approach are three. One is your mutant selection. So I will be discussing in great details all these things. Next is your recombination. Okay. And the third one is your recombinant DNA technology. So these are the three different approaches by which you can go for the strain improvement. Okay. So next I will move on. So you can see this particular slide. So here we have talked about what is strain improvement. Is a process in which we can improve the strain from novel quantities. For novel quantities, hence it is the process of altering the property of the organism. There is no universally accepted technique for selecting, screening, strain improvement, but the three different techniques which we have discussed, that is mutant selection, recombination and recombinant DNA technology, can be used in the strain improvement. Let's have the okay. So next is, so we will move on to the first technique, that is your mutant selection. You know that large-scale mutant selection program has begun. When favorable reports of clinical trials are obtained, in early stage selection of spontaneous mutant may be helpful, but induced mutation are most common source of improvement. You know that when we talk of mutation, there are two types of mutation, and the two types of mutations are your spontaneous and your induced. Okay. So they are saying the same thing, that it may be spontaneous or induced, but in most of the time people go with the induced mutation. Okay. Many mutations bring about marked changes in biochemical characters, and these are major mutation. Some major mutation can be useful in strain improvement. Again, when you talk of mutation, mutation can be minor mutation, very small mutation which is not visible. Another is your major mutation. So we will be focusing on the major mutation. Okay. For example, we are saying that a mutant strain, so a mutant strain S604 of Streptomyces produce 6-methyl tetracycline in place of tetracycline. This demethylated form of tetracycline is a major commercial form of tetracycline. In contrast, most improvement in biochemical production have been due to stepwise accumulation of major genes, and these genes lead to small increase or decrease in the antibiotic or other biochemical production, and the selection may be expected to result in 10 to 15% of the yield. So please follow the students follow the points which I have highlighted. That is, we have talked about 10 to 15% increase of the yield. So while we are doing the strain improvement, we are increasing the yield of the overall process, and which is very, very important. Okay, and the selected strain are usually subjected to successive cycles of mutagenesis. So successive cycles of mutagenesis and selection, after several cycles, large increase is the yield is likely to be obtained. So there is a large increase in the yield is being obtained. Okay. So this is about your basic of strain improvement. Then we will move on to the mutation only, but the important point is just selective isolation of mutant. So you have to understand that how will you selectively isolate the mutant. So majority of desirable mutants, especially the minor gene mutants, showing increased production are isolated by screening of large number of clones. Large number of clones surviving the mutagen treatment, and this is called secondary screening. But this approach requires a large amount of work, so you have to have a large amount of work. So therefore efforts have increasingly been focused on developing techniques where you know that how to best do the mutation. So the most important criteria to be considered are isolation of auxotrophic mutant. For example, selection of C mutant means it is, what is C mutant? It is your phenylalanine mutant of C glutamicus, okay, accumulating tyrosine from the basis of commercial amino acid producing in Japan. So it is Corynebacterium glutamicum which is actually producing your tyrosine. Then many analog resistant mutants. So one is your auxotrophic mutant. You know what is an auxotroph? That which cannot grow in a complete medium because some of the biosynthetic genes are basically missing in them. Many analog resistant mutants have feedback insensitive enzymes of the biosynthetic pathway, the analog of whose product was used for selection of such cells. Such mutants tend to overproduce the end product of the concerned pathway. So you know, this is your analog resistant mutant have feedback insensitive enzymes. So feedback insensitive enzymes, their enzymes are feedback insensitive to the biosynthetic pathway. So the analog of whose product was used for selection of such cells. So they overproduce the product, right? Because they have the feedback loop is missing in them, in their metabolic pathway. So there is a huge production of the byproduct. Sometimes revertin from non-producing mutant of the strain are high producers. Example, one such reversion mutation is Streptomyces viridifasciens showed over 6-fold increase of chlortetracycline production over the original strain. Okay, so on one such reversion mutation lead to a better mutation, right? And that is being given. Reversion mutant of appropriate auxotroph may often be of high producers. Okay. In some cases, selection of the resistance of antibiotic produced by the organism may lead to increased yield. Sometimes mutant will alter cell membrane permeability, showing high production of some of the metabolites. Okay, and mutant have been selected to produce altered metabolites, especially in case of aminoglycoside antibiotic. For example, Pseudomonas aerofasciens produce the antibiotic pyrrolnitrine. So these are some of the examples of the mutation which has been done. Next we will move on to your another aspect of your strain improvement, that is your recombination. Now if you define recombination, what is recombination? Recombination may be defined as a formation of new gene combination among those present in different strains. So you have to take different strains and there is a combination of genes. Once several different mutants have been isolated, recombination is used for both genetic analysis as well as strain improvement. Recombination may be based on protoplast fusion, sexual reproduction. So it is based on your protoplast fusion and your sexual reproduction. So protoplast fusion and your sexual reproduction. Now protoplast of bacteria, actinomycetes, fungi are isolated by treatment with variety of lytic enzymes. So you use lytic enzyme to get the protoplast. An osmoticum is necessary for protoplast stability, and the fusion is usually brought about by polyethylene glycol, you know. Usually recombinant are recovered from protoplast fusion product, and some of them may possess a very desirable characteristic. You have to screen them. It is not as specific as inducing a mutation, but you have to screen them. Protoplast fusion has been used to produce Cephalosporium acremonium strain, which yields significant higher cephalosporin C by fusing auxotrophic mutant. So they have taken the auxotrophic mutant, they have fused auxotrophic mutant to obtain a new different kind of strain. Next is your sexual reproduction. So when I am talking of sexual reproduction, you can go for conjugation, the most important one, and actinomyces includes streptomyces. Conjugation leads to the formation of usually partial diploids. You know it very well. You have studied conjugation, transformation, transduction, which crossing over produce recombinant phenotype. Recombinants are recovered and used for genetic studies. What are the genetic studies? Like linkage mapping can be done. Similarly, yeast has two mating types. The cell of opposite mating types used to form diploid heterozygote cells. So that is sexual reproduction. Last but not the least, this is the most versatile and versatile technique in your industry, and that is your recombinant DNA technology. So recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology or genetic engineering involves the isolation and cloning of the interest genes. So isolation and cloning of the interested gene, necessary gene construct using appropriate enzymes were made, and you know that expression is being done into appropriate host organism. This technique results in the production of recombinant protein. So there are various recombinant proteins which are also used as a drug, and those are basically used, and modification of the organism's metabolic pattern for production of new modified and more quantity of your metabolites. So this is basically the basic part of your strain improvement. Okay. So there are other some novel technologies, as I have talked about that we will be talking of technology. So we will also be discussing the novel technologies, and those novel technologies are two types. Okay. So basically two types. These are the old technologies which I have talked about. That is your novel technologies, novel genetic technology, and that is being classified as your, it is classified as your metabolic engineering and your genome shuffling. Okay. So it is basically your metabolic engineering and your genome shuffling. So what is your metabolic engineering? The existing pathways are modified or entirely new one are introduced through manipulation of the gene. So you know that metabolic pathway is the one. Metabolic pathway is the one which gives you the metabolite. So if you manipulate the metabolic pathway by manipulating the genes, so you are manipulating the genes which are responsible to derive one metabolic pathway. So what will happen? This will result in the improvement of the microbial product by generation of totally a new metabolic pathway. So we are trying to produce a new metabolic pathway. It has been used to overproduce some of the amino acid like isoleucine in Corynebacterium glutamicum and ethanol in E. coli. So you know Corynebacterium glutamicum which we are talking about, okay? It has resulted in the overproduction of your amino acid, and that is your isoleucine. Okay. Corynebacterium glutamicum thus making it possible for the organism to utilize whey, which is plentiful and cheap. So Corynebacterium glutamicum was not being utilized to produce whey in its metabolic pathway, but due to metabolic engineering, now it can produce the whey, which is a very cheap substrate, can be available anywhere, right? And that is why that was one of the breakthrough. And the last but not the least is your genome shuffling. And when I am talking of your genome shuffling, it's a novel technique of strain improvement that allows for recombination between multiple parents at each generation, okay, and several rounds of recursive genome fusion. So recursive genome fusion, okay, and carried out resulting in final improved strain involving genetic trait from multiple initial strain. So, initial strain to your final strain has been produced by recursive genome fusion. Okay. So, ultimately the application, you know that application will be large scale production of vaccines, enzymes, interferons in the field of microbiology to improve microbe productivities or characteristics. Treatment of even genetic disease like SCID by rDNA technology is there, and production of medically useful biological products like insulin, growth hormone, etc. So thus we can conclude today in my slide that we have successfully completed our strain improvement technique, which will bring about a revolution in your industry, and in a very short interval of time a huge amount of product in a very cheap fermentable way it could be achieved, and that will bring about economic benefit to the industry. So thank you students for listening to me. Stay at home, stay safe.